Imagine being locked away forever, while people watch you through the bars, laughing, taking pictures, and walking away after a few minutes, while you remain there, in the same space, staring at the same walls, feeling the same scenery every single day. For many animals, that's the harsh reality of old-fashioned zoos, where human entertainment weighed more than respect for wildlife. But the other side of this story also exists, and it's powerful. Some modern zoos have become true centers of salvation for endangered species. It was in captivity that the California condor rose from the ashes after nearly disappearing from the wild. And in Brazil, zoos helped give the golden lion tamarin a second chance, reintroducing it into the forests of Rio de Janeiro. These spaces stopped being prisons and became laboratories of hope. So, the question is, what defines a zoo? The size of the cages, or the intention behind them? Because when a zoo is a prison, it destroys lives. But when it becomes a sanctuary, it saves the planet's future. Behind the children's smiles and the flashes of cameras, there's another world, one few ever see. A world of repetitive routines, boredom, stress, and animals pacing in circles, as if trying to escape from themselves. Some live in tiny enclosures, without stimulation, without the wind of the savannah, the scent of the forest, or the roar of freedom. But there are inspiring exceptions, zoos that have understood that the real spectacle is seeing an animal truly happy. The San Diego Zoo in the United States is a world-class example. There, habitats are recreated with precision, and animal welfare comes before any ticket sale. The same happens at the Singapore Zoo, where visitors walk through open environments, almost without barriers, feeling like part of nature itself. These places educate, move, and awaken awareness. Because not all zoos are the same, some confine, others liberate, even without opening the gates. But there's a huge ethical dilemma. Do we have the right to imprison animals? It's a question that disturbs and divides opinions. Do we truly have the right to lock up a living being just to satisfy our curiosity? To see a lion sleep in a space smaller than its natural territory, or a dolphin swim in a tank? Many say no, that no human act justifies taking another being's freedom. Yet without zoos, many species would vanish forever. The northern white rhinoceros, for example, survives thanks to captive breeding programs that preserve its genetic material. And if one day nature becomes safe again for them, these same zoos could reintroduce them to their original homes. It's a moral and emotional dilemma with no easy answer. Between guilt and hope, what truly matters is how we treat those who cannot choose. The difference lies in turning captivity into care, and the human gaze into empathy. For many children, their first encounter with a wild animal happens inside a zoo. It's there, standing in front of a massive elephant or a tiger with a piercing stare, that curiosity is born. And sometimes, love for animals too. Zoos can teach empathy, respect, and biodiversity in ways no book ever could. But there's a risk: turning education into entertainment. When focus is lost and the animal becomes a showpiece, learning gives way to hollow amusement. The Chester Zoo in the United Kingdom shows it can be different. It combines research, education, and immersive experiences, helping visitors understand they're in front of a living being, not a toy. There, every exhibit is a lesson about preservation and responsibility. Seeing an animal up close can awaken a defender of nature, or just another spectator. It all depends on the purpose behind the display. Sanctuaries and zoos might look alike, but the difference runs deep. In an ethical sanctuary, animals are not displayed for profit or fun. They are rescued, treated, and allowed to live in peace, often after trauma and mistreatment. Meanwhile, many commercial zoos still carry the shadow of entertainment. But some places have found a balance, combining conservation, research, and respect. Loro Parque in Spain is a great example, focusing on breeding programs for endangered species. The Toronto Zoo in Canada follows the same philosophy, promoting science and empathy. The truth is that the word zoo doesn't define the purpose, the human heart behind it does. The line between a zoo and a sanctuary is thin, and it all depends on one powerful word: compassion. When compassion exists, captivity turns into care, and profit gives way to life. The future of zoos is changing, and fast. Today, there are already digital and immersive experiences that allow people to observe wild animals in 3D through augmented and virtual reality. Some parks are replacing cages with holographic projections, recreating natural environments without any need for captivity. But does that truly replace real contact with a living animal? Maybe not completely, but it's a huge step toward reducing the suffering of species that should never live behind bars. The challenge is to balance technology and nature, preservation and emotion. And if the zoo of the future can save lives without locking them away, then maybe, at last, we'll understand the real meaning of preservation. A zoo that educates, inspires, and protects without imprisoning. The future can be free, and we have the power to build that path. Zoos can be prisons or sanctuaries. It all depends on how we choose to manage them. When there is love, science, and respect, a zoo stops being an end and becomes a new beginning for wildlife. But remember, you don't need to visit a zoo to connect with the animal world. Many exotic pets, like reptiles, fish, birds, and small mammals, can bring nature closer to you in an ethical, safe, and responsible way. There's an exotic pet that's perfect for everyone, even for those who've never had one before. And right here on this channel, we help you find yours. So if you believe that loving animals also means fighting for their freedom, like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Because together, we can turn the world into one big sanctuary, where every life, wild or domestic, has the right to be free, loved, and respected.